We're going to talk a little bit more about Johnny Cardoso, his most recent appearance against Real Madrid on March 1st. And, it's not often that the U.S. men's national team has a player who bosses the Real Madrid midfield. But Johnny Cardoso, in a lot of ways, he really did kind of boss this midfield. And I want to talk a little bit more about that performance specifically, just starting with a little bit of this amazing flick that Johnny Cardoso did over Luka Modric. And it's the little things. These things aren't necessarily, oh, that makes him a starter for the U.S. men's national team. And it actually, this whole discussion is going to promote who are the starting midfielders for the U.S. men's national team. But Johnny Cardoso receives the ball here off of kind of a looping clearance from Real Madrid onto his chest, down to his foot, over Luka Modric. And as you'll see, Modric tries to reach out, and Johnny Cardoso goes out the other way, out to the left back. And here we go with Real Betis attacking. And these little things, to me, it's not so much about the skill, because a lot of these players have the skill, but it's the confidence that Johnny Cardoso is playing with right now to be able to do that. He's really, really found a home here at Real Betis, and I'm so happy he didn't make a transfer this past summer, because he has just been thriving for Betis as of late. Moving forward, this is the kind of stuff where I think Johnny Cardoso is the kind of player that the U.S. men's national team has never had. He is truly a controller. He is. Every time I watch him, I just see Jorginho more and more, and I know I always make that player comp, but this is exactly the type of player that he is. Just watch how he sees Vinicius Jr. is dribbling at him. And listen, Johnny Cardoso is smart enough to know he doesn't have the pace to keep up with Vinicius. He can't go in and try and make, a crazy tackle the way maybe Tyler Adams would do. And there's no right or wrong answer, but it's important to know the profile that you are. And Johnny has really started to develop this IQ and intelligence on the pitch. He just keeps kind of forcing Vinicius to make a decision, not to be able to just run with the ball, but, he kind of forces him one way. He gives him this inside where he's got help. Vinicius tries to go the other way. Johnny just stays with him, kind of forces him wide. And now you've gotten, 1, 2, 3, 4 players back here, and you've got a player on this side of Mbappe. And Johnny continues to do that, continues to force him. Now he's basically got an extra defender here on the sideline. He's got his midfield two here to help him out. Vinicius has no option to turn backwards, as the Betis team has worked together to force him to the sideline. And he plays a pass to Mbappe here that ends up out of play. And it's little things. These are not, massive game-changing moments, but stopping a player like Vinicius Jr., who can be a one-man counterattack in these areas, is just so massive to have in our midfield, because the expansive way that Pochettino wants to play, teams are going to have these opportunities to get out on the break against us at times. And we're going to need our defensive midfielders, whether it be Cardoso or Adams or Tanner Tessman or Musa, McKennie, whoever ends up being in that role in 2026, we're going to need players who have this kind of intelligence to not have to make, a tactical foul, but to turn the ball over. And that's exactly what Cardoso has done here. But there's also the offensive side of his game that's improved. And look at this area where he's taking up. Isco's on the ball here, and Johnny Cardoso finds himself on the edge of the box, in between the lines, in space amongst 5 players. Really, really intelligent movement to kind of just settle into that zone. Receives the ball super well on the half turn. Takes his next touch into the area. Tries to play this ball to the back post. The correct ball to play. It does get knocked out for a corner kick, but it's just interesting to see a player take up different spaces and be able to get into more attacking zones and be comfortable when they get there. Is Johnny going to be in these areas a lot? Maybe once every 2 games? Yes. But nonetheless, to be able to provide an impact in all of those different areas is spectacular to see. Here's another excellent transition play from Johnny, and why I call him a controller, right? Here he is. Mbappe is receiving this cleared ball onto his chest. You've got 2 midfielders, one of them being Johnny, who is circled here in red, and Vinicius. This player in front of Johnny is going to go towards Mbappe. Vinicius is running across this way. Johnny's going to carry with him, run with him. You see here, I've marked. He's running with Vinicius. Mbappe is starting to basically cut the ball back because he sees there's nothing over here. You've got another Betis defender here. You've got the left back, Ricardo Rodriguez, running back as well. He's marked. But what he does see is he sees his left winger, I believe this is Brahim Diaz, in tons of space. There is not a Betis player in here at all. Mbappe makes his dribble this way. Next pass is going to be a ball into a free one-on-one for Brahim Diaz. And what does Cardoso do? He stops on a dime, reads He's done his scanning. He knows Diaz is back here, and he knows my only chance at stopping this goal is getting in this passing lane. And he does brilliantly. I mean, this is spectacular. This is 2 times he has been the sole man to stop a counterattack. And this time, I mean, he's basically stopping a goal. This is a one-on-one Brahim Diaz is going to have with the goalkeeper. It's going to end up in a goal. Cardoso not only makes this tackle, but ends up being picked up by his midfielder. And again, Betis are going the other way. Johnny Cardoso against Real Madrid, like this is an all-time performance from Johnny Cardoso. So impressive from him. And, this stuff, it is what it is. It's excellent to see a goal scorer, but not obviously the important part about Johnny Cardoso's game. But he scores a goal against Real Madrid, and you see what it meant to him. It's a corner kick, and he's really, really smart with his movement. He comes immediately in to this box area. Luka Modric is kind of the last man in this zonal marking. And he just starts peeling off the back of Luka Modric into this empty space because you've got this man marking here and you've got this empty space here. He peels off the back of him, gets high, wins the header, puts it in the back of the net. Johnny Cardoso scores a goal against Real Madrid. And just what a moment after all the things he had already done in the match to then get a goal on top of it. So spectacular to see from Johnny Cardoso. And the last thing I want to show is actually his ability to start a counterattack. He sees really well this hold-up play, and he realizes, his attacker's not going to be able to turn and play the ball the other way. So instead, he just follows the ball, takes it basically off of his foot, takes a touch forward. He sees Antony here making this run in between the two center backs, or I believe this is the left back and the center back, plays that ball into space to Antony, who gets onto it, draws a foul, draws a yellow card. And overall, Johnny Cardoso, I mean, this is one of his best performances of the year, and they keep getting better and better. The Europa League, in La Liga, there's no doubt to me that Johnny Cardoso will be leaving Betis this summer, but what a great season he's been having. And it's hard to make an argument that he potentially wouldn't be a starter in this midfield. Let's draw it back to this midfield that has been selected for these Nations League matches. It's tough because Tanner Tessman's been playing excellently now for Lyon under the new manager, Fonseca. He's been playing every single week. He's really been really good. His passing range has been excellent. He's gotten into the final third, but his biggest issue is he's been playing alongside Nemanja Matic, and the two of them together is very redundant. And my worry is Tanner Tessman and Johnny Cardoso is a similar kind of redundancy, whereas I think Tanner Tessman would play really well alongside a Tyler Adams, alongside a destroyer in midfield, alongside an aggressor in midfield, versus a Johnny Cardoso who's more of the controlling type, more of the Matic type, more of the getting in the passing lanes type, who's not a ball carrier. So that brings me to say, what is our midfield three? Well, at this moment, Gio Reyna is really not playing well. I can't imagine he's in our starting midfield three the way that we've been playing as of late. I think Weston McKennie is going to play as that furthest forward midfielder. So then the pivot. It's brutal to say that I don't think Johnny Cardoso gets into the starting 11, even after this amazing performance. But for me, the best and most balanced midfield three is Tyler Adams, Tanner Tessman, and Weston McKennie. That has to be the midfield three for me right now to start matches. But Johnny Cardoso, a controller type to come in the last 30 minutes, you're up a couple, take off, either Adams or a Tessman, or you take off a McKennie and you move Tessman further up, or you move, or you go to a flatter midfield three. That's where I am right now.